Welcome back to the SC Halfback Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Namoski. Welcome to another team picker. Again, picking another topic to try and talk about some different players, get some guys in this team, see how they look, and have a bit of a theme. So the theme today, last time we were here, we spoke about going forward heavy. What about if we go outside back heavy? CTW. Now, that's obviously one of the ceiling positions in Supercoach. What if we stack that with the best starting four we basically can do here? So let's go down into the team picker. We'll go a bit different than we normally do. Let's just get in these huge guns. So as you can see here, we've got four starting positions. Let's go grab them. Greg Marzu, Newcastle Knights, 789,000. Jermaine Asako, Dolphins, 783,000. Valentine Holmes, North Queensland Cowboys, 736,000. And let's go get Brian To'o at 720,000. So as you can see there, we have got basically four of the top six Supercoach CTWs you can have. We've obviously got two goal kickers and no try scorers, and we've got two absolute beast wingers in there as well. So we are very heavy here. How are we going to fill this team to still have a very competitive team for round one? So let's get back up to the top and let's make this team. Hooker, we have to go a bit light on. We can't go get ourselves a Harry Grant, but what we can go get is a Brandon Smith at 471,000 from the Roosters. I think behind that full pack, another season, another year in first grade for the Roosters. He might be in for a bit of a big season. So let's see how we can go with Brandon Smith. Hopefully make a little bit of coin off him and work our way up to a bit of a full-on gun there to upgrade that position. Now, you might laugh with our backup here. We're on with an old faithful guy from last year, Sonny Luke, at 263,000. I've been pretty high on the Summerton bandwagon. Obviously, Mitch Kenny's still there, but I don't know if he can jag that bench spot round one. He can be listed on the bench again. I don't mind it because he's another off season that he can be prepping in there. If he's walking there as number 14, I think there's worse options. He still can get you that 25 to 35 you need when you're not going to play Brandon Smith. I think Sonny Luke is a chance to have a bit of a bounce back and be very pottish after being so highly owned last year. Forwards, we're going to have to go really cheap ones. Obviously, very different to our last podcast. Let's go get ourselves Fletcher Baker. Now, if he does start in that 10 jersey, I like it even more. We sort of see who obviously gets our starting spot. So between him, Jensen, who it's going to be, just want to see there. Now, a guy I don't care if he's starting or not. I just think he's going to have a bit of impact as Spencer Lanier. I think he's going to be sitting right around that 30 to 35 mark. And in this team with our high range CTWs, that's all I really care about. So Spencer Lanier, even if he's off the bench, I still think he's maybe going to that 35 to 40 minute mark. I don't mind it. Sam Hughes for the Bulldogs is next up. Now, again, there's a lot of moving parts in that forward pack for the Doggies. I think he's a shout to potentially get a spot there. So I like giving someone a chance on a bench. And then we'll go with one of our old favorites here, Davey Moali at 268K. So right here, I like what we've got so far. We've obviously gone pretty light here. Brendan Smith is our main guy. We've got a lot of guys with a bit of upside and cash to make. So hopefully our front row forwards can generate some cash. We can have some of these guys in this range here, Mawaki, DeBellin, Max King, Paseka, Collins. Some of these guys can drop off a little bit. We can go get some guns there. 2RF, obviously full of our mid-rangers. I need to go a little bit cheaper as well here. So let's start with the Bulldogs once again, Ryan Sutton. Now, Sutton or Knight, whoever it is, I don't care. One of them potentially will start for the Doggies and take whichever one that is. We then are going to go to the Manly Sea Eagles, to Josh Alloway. Now, to 394K dual. Again, I like that. He should be the starting 13, I would assume. Maybe even starting 8, depending on what they do with Trbojevic. But I think he's in for a big season. He got discounted with some injury games last year. So I like having him there. And a guy who I think potentially could get that starting edge spot, Satili Tupanua at 398K. So right here, to me, he's just walking 40s. Get yourself a 40, get in and out. Now, a guy I think Shane Flanagan will rely very heavily on this year is Tom Gilbert, CTW Tour of Jewel at 356K. I just think that they signed him for a reason. I think he's potentially a chance to get maybe a starting spot, but if not, even 45 off the bench to get myself a 40. Again, I don't mind a little bit of cash we made. We then stick with the Dragons. Ben Murdoch Masilla at 316K. This is the coach who had Andrew Feeder and got the best out of him. I think he's going to look at Ben Murdoch and say, mate, you should be doing the exact same thing for us. So I like having him there. And then a unique duel of Jake Granville, 2RF hooker at 302,000. Once again, my whole idea up here, get me my 35 to 40 and get out clean. Make a bit of money where we can. Mawali, Baker, Lanu. Obviously, just get some nice sturdy scores in here. Maybe Tupanua or Alloa can get up to that 500, 550K mark if they're starting, and we're going to be good there. So we've obviously stacked very heavy in our CTWs, a lot of 700Kers in here, but let's just try and get a little bit of coin here. Now, as you can see, we've gone pretty light there, so I need to stack myself again with some guns here. So let's just go and get ourselves Nathan Cleary at 912,000. And for our 5'8 slot, let's go for a guy we haven't really spoken about yet. Let's go to Ezra Mann. I think he's going to improve this year. That 532K might be the cheapest we get him in a few seasons at Supercoach. So I like having the option there. We'll stick with the backup 5'8 slot. Let's go get ourselves Aiden Caesar. Bit of a cash cow, 345 if you can start in goal kick. And then for our starting halfback, let's go get ourselves Braden Trindle at 439K. Again, halfback 5'8. So we can switch these two guys around pretty comfortably, depending on if Mam or Cleary is out. These two guys should get us our huge scores. Cleary is our captain, and we can VC whoever we want to get there. To fill out our bench for the CTWs, let's go get Bronson Sherry at 345K. Just undervalued if he is going to start. Let's go to a bit of an old fallen gun. Let's go to Nick Kotrick of the Canberra Raiders at 274K. If the Raiders can turn it on, it's a guy that can get you your 25 to 35 and can be a bit of a cover for any of these guys are out. And then again, similar, you got to kind of have that guy you want to save a trade on labor. I think Chevy Stewart has a chance to get that fullback slot at some stage. So at 204K with the dual there, you can flick around if you need to. I think you need to have at least one fullback dual in your CTW, so we'll put him in there. That leaves our fullbacks at 1.56 million. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but there are two guys we can squeeze in here and have our partner captain option with Nathan Cleary. So the first guy we're going to bring in, Latrell Mitchell at 789K. Starting to really click into gear for me that I've been running with Ponga and Chance as my two fullbacks. I might need to find a bit of coin to get myself up to Latrell because I just think he's going to have a good start to the season. Now, whether it's at, those first couple of weeks are quiet, by round 3 or 4, he could be on. So I don't want to miss the boat. Potentially, that's the way we could look at. So if we jump back up here again, we've got 779,000. So there is one guy I'm looking here. We've spoken about Ruben Garrick quite a bit already this offseason. We've spoken about Chans a lot. Let's get ourselves James Tedesco. Now, starting, who would have thought we can get 1.5 mil, get Latrell and Teddy in the same side? But I just think that we can rotate them on who we want to VC or C. We're also Cleary there as our gun as well with all of our CTWs. Right here from halfback down, this is a very, very strong team in terms of where we want to go. So let's just recap this team as a whole. We got Cheese and Luke up in the hooker positions. We got Baker, Lanu, Hughes, and Mawali in the front row. We got Sutton, Alloy, Tupanua, Eisenhuth, Murdoch, Masilla, and Granville in the 2RF. And now we get fun. Cleary and Trindle in the halves, Mam and Caesar in the 5'8s, Marzu, Asako, Holmes, and To'o with Sherry, Kotrick, and Stewart in the CTW, finishing it off with Latrell Mitchell and James Tedesco. These last two ones have been very fun because obviously the previous one, we stacked the front row and the second row. This one, we've kind of stacked the CTW. So I think what I'm seeing here, obviously, I keep speaking about those 4 guns, Grant, Cleary, Hines, and Ponga. It's really lovely to have them all in there. But as you can see, if you sacrifice 1 or 2 of them, you can really get yourself some guys that, if we get into once this app is officially open and you can get some sub 10% absolute weapon guns in there. To me, Marzu might be a guy who you could get sub 10% to start season just because of that price. And if you are starting with Ponga, why would you not start with Greg Marzu if you can afford it? So really coming into mind that I think Cleary is the absolute must out of the 4 for me. I think Ponga is probably next. And then, whether Grant or Hines, Hines has the absolute ceiling, but, you know, if you could go Braden Trindle as that second spot and save nearly 500K, utilize that somewhere else, and that could be, your Tino, that could be your Marzu, that could be your Nickera. Very, very interesting. So we will leave it there, guys. That is our CTW stacked team. So still plenty of guns in there. And I think as we're kind of talking about these, as I write in these comments, these are just drafts, but getting that guy in your team and look, Margie looks very nice in that team. Can you have him in there? Tino looks very nice in this team. Can you have him? So that big four that we keep talking about, if you can start with them, fantastic, but you might have to make some changes around your team that you might think, looking at some of these teams, you can have some guys in there. So very, very interesting. We'll be back with some more teams. We might go a bit of draft soon. We've gone pretty heavy in classics so far with the team picker. Might go back into a bit of draft land. Obviously, we've got version 16 of the big board is on the social, so go check that out. Might do a bit of a video here, just maybe a bit of an overview of the big board, and then maybe some draft strategy, some tiers, some player ones, player twos for the rounds to see where we're going to go there. So get to the socials at the SC Halfback. Give us a subscribe and a like here. Definitely really helps out. Thank you for listening. Have a great day and hear from you soon. Cheers.